Welcome to a new episode of Asexualise, my asexual life. It's party time as we celebrate 2023 asexual achievements, and we go into 2024. So stay tuned for what's coming up this year, next year, what's happened this year. Yes. So yes, it's pie time, people. What's happened this year and what's happening next year. So asexual awareness. I have done tons in 2023 to raise asexual awareness. And so in case you didn't know the huge achievements I've made on behalf of asexuals, obviously I don't represent every asexual, but I try to help asexuality in general. One of the biggest, hugest achievements of the whole year is being on James Miller Lifeology Radio. That had over 3 million listeners. So this is an episode that I did with James Miller. He interviewed me about asexuality, like what is life like as an asexual person, basically. And he broadcast to about 21 different radio channels, radio stations. That includes all the ones online that he is it word syndicated to. So basically he broadcasts around 21 stations, but obviously he's also on places like Roku TV, and as well as being on Lifeology Radio itself, broadcast out to all these places, so it's really, really huge. I think he's on about 5 or 6 TV channels. And yeah, it's just amazing. Like, I have a list of all of the places that Lifeology Radio is broadcast to. I put it on my quirkybooks.wordpress.com blog. I think it's on the asexualise.com blog as well. And it lists all the places that episode was aired and listened to. But the episode had over 3 million. So this is huge for asexuality. Getting asexuality recognized to a global audience like that is just crazily amazing, right? So this is really good asexual recognition. I also got interviewed on Sense of Soul podcast. She has over 1 million downloads of her whole show, but that means her show's really, really popular. It's like in the top % of listened to shows on Apple, for example. And so I'm really pleased that asexuality is being brought to a huge audience. And her audience is very much focused on spirituality. And I do believe it's my spiritual mission given to me by God in the universe to get asexuality recognized as a sexual orientation in its own right throughout the globe, so that no asexual has to live in fear of ridicule ever again. And my goal is to get us to be able to live in harmony alongside sexuals. So I believe I've got the experience to do it because I used to be in heterosexual relationships for over half of my life. And I understand heterosexuals because I thought I was heterosexual for years, but I wasn't. I mistook my high levels of arousal for sexual attraction, which they are completely not the same. So I don't experience sexual attraction at all. This has been great achievements. I've spoke at Oxford University for Blue Talks, and I'm really looking forward to that coming out. I've got some clips on this channel from there, but the talk should go on the Blue Talks channel and the respective channels for asexuality soon, because I'm part of my talk includes asexuality. So this is really huge. They haven't got a channel for asexuals. They got a channel which covers like entrepreneurs, creative people, solopreneurs, healers, spiritual people. So again, it's getting asexuality recognized to a much more different global audience than would usually be recognized. And I also got my Asexual Perspectives book to be a bestseller this year. I didn't make it that way. It just happened. But yeah, so my Asexual Perspectives book is on Amazon. You can go and check it out. Grab yourself a copy there. That became a bestseller this year. And I also became an international #1 bestselling author with co-authoring Blue Talks Volume 11 book, which has the foreword by James Redfield and Ken Honda. They're very famous people. James Redfield wrote the Celestine Prophecy, and Ken Honda is the author of Happy Money and also a Mind Valley Instructor, which is one of the biggest online personal and self-development platforms. So it's a lot of recognition. In my chapter again included about asexuality and how to reinvent your life. And I used the years I found out I was asexual and what happened after that as part of talking about the transformations I've had to reinvent myself. For example, when I first started this channel, I was really shy to talk about sex. I could only talk about it with an ex-boyfriend, never anyone else, not even a girlfriend at the time, you know? I just was too shy. And I knew that if I wanted to help asexuals on a global scale, that I would have to talk about sex in order to help. Because sex is going to crop up even for the asexuals that don't like it. Because the fact we don't like it is going to make it crop up, if you know what I mean, as a talking point sometimes. So I really had to get out of my comfort zone, push by my fears to be able to do that. Also, I didn't used to be comfortable meeting up in groups with people. I only used to be able to meet with people on one-to-one basis. I had huge social anxiety, felt really uncomfortable in groups. And it's since I started hosting and organizing asexual meetups in 2015 that I then became comfortable being in groups as much as I can possibly be comfortable and organize them, and people coming from all over the UK to them. So I've only had one-to-one meetups this year. I haven't actually had any group meetups. So it's really all good for asexual awareness. I was also a speaker recently at the Be and Become Summit, which is great for asexual awareness. I was the first speaker on there. And as you probably know, when attention span goes, it's usually the first personal people on there that get maximum viewers most of the time. So I feel really honored that I was there to go first. And again, this is reaching a more global audience. A lot of healers in that community, light workers, speakers, coaches, authors, this type of thing. So again, reaching a global audience. I've just been told I've got a special mention in the iconic 100 2023 Impact Igniters worldwide list. I made the list, so thank you for voting for me. I've got a special mention on that. So again, this is huge recognition for asexuality because obviously I represent asexuals, you know. So I'm really thrilled about that. And also I have written Diary Confessions of a Hyperromantic Asexual. I'm just on the very, very final last bits of that where I'm just double checking what I've written, and I've just finished the full introduction for including the benefits of the book. So soon I'll be on to the formatting stage, and this is great for asexual awareness because Diary Confessions of a Hyperromantic Asexual is taking you behind the scenes of my behind the scenes. So I do a lot of videos on this channel behind the scenes of my asexual life in order to help you in your own, and I use my own life experience to help you in your life journey. Also, I talk about, you know, dating and relationships and stuff on this channel, self-care, confidence and stuff like that. And so the Diary Confessions of Hyperromantic Asexual takes you behind the scenes of those behind the scenes. Like what am I feeling and thinking when I'm having a date, for example, when I'm asexual? Like what's going on in my mind? How is the interaction really going from an asexual point of view? This type of thing. And during the time of like heartache, pain, joys, up and downs, I have life lessons I learn along the way that I can share with you to help you in your own life journey to truly ace it. So I wanted to get that book out before Christmas and then before New Year, but it's not going to happen. So it's going to be a book in the new year, the beginning of the new year. So I'm really excited for that. And, you know, that will help get asexuality to broader audience because the book will no doubt be read by people who aren't asexual as well as people who are. So people will see a bit more different side to me, and yeah, they'll just have an extended version of me. By the way, I got these pajamas for Christmas. They're so cute, aren't they? Snowman. So yes, I'm really proud of that. And I was going to put the book out there before I decided whether to do a book 2, but I just feel it's the right thing to do. and that people want a book too if they get engrossed in me and my life and the real people in my real characters in my life, because it's a real life non-fiction memoir style diary book, right? So if people want another book, I can then write another book, but I've already started writing it. I was going to leave that for people to decide, but I feel like it's the right thing to do, is to go behind the scenes of my life and write out, what's going on in it, to be able to help asexuals. So it gives basically advice like I do on this channel, using my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. So I'm really thrilled to have started that. I've done more work on the Asexual Guide to Sex book this year, but I have put that on hold when I started my Diary Confessions of a Hyperromantic Asexual book in September. I have put the Asexual Guide to Sex more on hold. I did a little bit of it after I started writing that book, and then I haven't had a chance to do any more. So in 2024, I plan to use the first part of the year to finish Asexual Guide to Sex. So I'm going to Disneyland Paris in January. From the 22nd onwards, I'm going to London first on the 22nd. So most of the end of January, I won't be around in the UK. I'll be obviously in Disneyland Paris, which I'm sure I'll be sending you some videos about and photographs. And so I'm going to be spending predominantly most of February and March, well, nearly all of it, apart from the other times I'm doing other stuff. My main purpose those 2 months will be to get Asexual Guide to Sex book edits finished. I'm very thorough with that book, because unlike a diary book that's more casual conversation, it is a more conversational tone, but it's a bit more formal, And so I have to be careful as well, because it's a lot more technical book, because it's like actually asexual guide to sex. So it's a lot more technical book. There's a lot more work that goes into it from the point of view of finer details, I should say. So that's coming up in 2024. I will finish Asexual Guide to Sex book. I will be writing more Diary Confessions of a Hyperromantic Asexual book. And also I have started a workbook for asexuals, which I started for my Asexualise Academy club, which is an exclusive membership club. So I give it to those members first, and then it go on Amazon for you to buy. So I have said that I want to publish 6 books in 2024 for asexuals. And my idea was to try and publish 4 Diary Confessions of a Hyperromantic Asexual book, in the series, Asexual Guide to Sex and the workbook. But that is a lot of work. And also I've realized that the editing process of the book and the proofreading, everything, that takes about 3 to 4 weeks. So I don't know if it's feasible for me to get 6 books out. At least 2. I think 3 definitely is likely. 4 is probably stretching it. 6, I don't know, right? Because I didn't really take into account when I said 6, how long it's going to take me to edit. I think obviously after I get used to the Diary Confessions book, they'll be easier and quicker for me to edit. But also I've got to appear on podcasts. I've got to get myself more podcasts to be interviewed about my asexual books and stuff like that, and asexuality. So in January, I've got someone who I'm meeting with online because they're interested in doing a collaboration with me. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not yet. I need to talk to them because I've never met them before. They approached me on Instagram. So I've got a meeting with them on the 7th, then 8th of January, I got a new asexual coaching client, which I'm sure I can help them. And I'm looking forward to working with them. And then on the 9th of January, I've got a podcast interview. I think it's for about an hour. Someone's interviewing me about asexuality. So there's a lot going on, right? And I've already passed the first stage of a TEDx application talking about asexuality. So at the end of January, beginning of February, I then got to have a Zoom call to see if I can go through to the next stage of doing a TEDx talk. And if I get that eventually, if I go through the process, it's going to be really amazing, because my talk's going to be about asexuality. That's what I've already pitched him in my application, to talk about asexuality. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. So there's lots to do. I also have got to try to get my books into bookstores, which is a huge task. And for the first time in my life, I'm thinking I am going to possibly do a paid advert for my book. well, I can't do it for Asexual Guide to Sex, so it'll be for Diary Confessions book, the first book, to see how it goes. So I've never done paid ads before in my life. So I'm going to see how that goes. That's my idea. I haven't put that into practice yet. And even to get books into bookstores is going to be difficult. I want to be on at least 100 podcasts about the Asexual Guide to Sex books. So that's going to be a huge challenge for me. But also I need to be doing interviews for Die Confessions book as well. So there's a lot of work to do next year, but it's all focused and centered around book publishing and writing, and specifically for asexuals. So you should get more recognition, a bigger audience, more awareness spread, and it's going to be really, really fantastic. I'm really looking forward to it. And I hope you'll join me in just pushing forward and through with our message and, yeah, our beautiful aceness, because I love being asexual. I absolutely adore it. Anyway, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you like it, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode. And I'll see you in the next video or live stream. Lots of love. Take care. Happy New Year. For not long to go now, less than an hour and a half to go in the UK. So yeah, love you lots. Bye. Thumbs up.